What's up, guys? Today I got a cannon. I'm pretty excited to make this video. So yeah, this is technically my second cannon, even though the other one is more of a desk ornament. It's a 50 caliber little cannon, but this is my first legitimate cannon. So my buddy Phil, he's an expert when it comes to cannons, and I was able to get him to give me a lot more information on this thing. So I'm going to read off his messages. So this is an 18th century Howitzer. It's a subsized bore replica of a Spanish or French howitzer. The carriage is more of a light naval carriage or a mortar bed. The barrel does not match the chassis, the chariot, whatever you want to call it. The carriage, that's the correct words. It does not match the carriage. I guess back in the 80s when these replicas were being made, they didn't do a lot of research, what was historically correct, and something like this was created. Now, the bore size is different than the original. The original was a 4-inch bore, whereas this, I believe, is a 1.5-inch, something like that. It's big enough for a D battery. I'll get back to that. But the outside diameter of the barrel is historically correct. But thank you, Phil, for all your information. If you guys like the information or would like to see more cannons, Phil has a really cool one that he said he would bring on the channel, and it's a lot bigger cannon. So if you guys would like to see that, put something down in the comments below. Now, so this is a cannon, and it weighs 93 pounds. So it was kind of a pain to even transport it. It was not fun to transport it. I also had to find a specific powder for it. We got 1F for this cannon, and it was about an ounce load. I didn't have the correct powder measurer, so what I did was I got my musket or my regular powder measurer, set it at 110 grains, poured it out 4 times, and that roughly equated to about an ounce. Now this cannon has a steel sleeve, so Phil told me that 1 ounce is actually a pretty light load. This thing could potentially take up to a 4-ounce load. So, but at the range, I thought what we were doing was sufficient. Actually, after a couple shots, I noticed people coming out to the range just to look at what we were shooting. They were like, well, that's a deep boom. If you've never been around a cannon, it has this deep concussion that, yeah, it'll put a smile on your face. Showed a couple girls my cannon, and they all said I expected it to be bigger, and that brought back some bad memories. I'm sorry, my 93-pound cannon's not big enough. Sorry. So we did about a 1-ounce load, and what we were shooting out of this was primarily D batteries. The bore is the right size for a D battery. We got a sock for a wad and put the D in there. Haha, I know. And then we rammed it down, and that's what we shot. But Keith from Lude 69, he actually made some cannonballs that were about the same size as the D batteries. We wanted to test if it would be more accurate, and we were getting it down to 100 yards, but it was very hard to narrow it down. A couple of the shots were hitting low and bouncing up, even though we had it like situated like this. I guess because of the loose fitting ball, it just wasn't as predictable. We were hitting the berm, but that is a pretty big target. I got this round piece of wood that we were using to wedge between the barrel and the carriage. but this is how far up it aims. And I didn't want it to go over the berm, obviously. So I put that in there, and you would be able to move it up and down inside the carriage. So right there, it's aimed a little high or higher, yeah, and then you come back, it comes down, and you can adjust how much you want to tilt this. Maybe someday I should make something that would go in here, because this is all hollow, that I could adjust it a little bit better. But that worked for the time period, or the time being. Well, we heard it hit down there. I couldn't see anything because there's a giant smoke cloud in our way. We shot it at distance, and then we shot it at stupid shit. Because of course, Keith is at the range. We gotta shoot a coffee urn. Which coffee urns are surprisingly cannon resistant. The more you learn, the questions that nobody was asking, I just answered. You're welcome. Well, that's what's left of it. No, and that was not safe for us to be doing. Oh my God, that... Keith, you talked me into the most dangerous shit. Now, I made my own ramrod from a dowel rod, and then I got some wool and wrapped it around and used brass tacks to secure it in place. I want to thank Phil again for your help and your suggestions, because that was his idea. And actually, the way to load the aluminum foil, the way he said, was to wrap it around the ramrod and then pour the lead in after you pull it off the ramrod. And I'm like, oh, that is a smart idea. All I was doing was putting it down, rolling it like it was a blunt, pushing it in, and then once it was down there, smushing it into place. And he was like, well, yeah, that worked, obviously, but there's a smarter way to do it. So, you know, I'm not a cannon expert. I'm not even an expert. I'm just here. I'm just doing shit, whatever I'm doing. But, guys, you gotta admit, a cannon's cool. And if you're one of the 4 people who actually watched this far into the video, hi! I can't even get people to watch the shorts on this cannon, weirdly enough. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I enjoyed shooting it, even though it was a like 90-degree day with a 100-degree heat index. I was not feeling very good, and lugging around a 93-pound cannon, I didn't feel very good that night. So I've actually gotten more enjoyment watching the footage than actually shooting it, which is kind of sad. I'm not against the idea of maybe shooting it again, but the views I'm getting on the shorts, I don't think anybody really is that interested. Maybe for a video or two, it seemed like people were like, oh, that's cool. But after I uploaded all of them I had, they just died. So, and I'm guessing probably most of you aren't even watching this. But if you are, I'm glad I have some fans. But stay tuned. I'm going to come out with some cool shit, and if I can get some attention on this camera, I just looked at the camera and said that. If I can get some views on this cannon, my buddy Phil has a bigger, larger bore cannon that he said he'd be willing to bring onto the channel. So if I actually got some views, I would do that for you guys. But if not, at least I was able to show this awesome cannon off. So, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Stay tuned. I got some pretty cool shit coming up.